What up, y'all? It's your girl D, and welcome to See Me Through CDs, where I sit right here on this couch and pull out my handy dandy bag of CDs, y'all. Hi. I've been having so much fun sitting here doing this. Like, I can sit here and talk about this all day, and like I said, the CDs was just sitting around collecting dust, so why not? So without further ado, we about to put out a CD and talk about it. Okay, so Miss Jazmine Sullivan. Okay, if you know, you know. But if you don't know, I tell you. If you don't know, I grew up in Philly, and Jazmine Sullivan is from Philly. And when this CD came out, I was in middle school, and I remember when the single came out, and the single for this CD, actually, it was called Jazmine Sullivan Fearless, and the single for this CD was I Need You Bad. And then like the bigger songs that blew up, of course, was Bust Your Windows, and then After the Hurricane. I remember that was on an episode of The Game when the game was going off, and then I also remember Lions and Tigers and Bears. And I also remember In Love with Another Man from the Tyler Perry movie Secrets or Confessions of a Marriage Counselor. So I remember, the songs in and out. But I was like, oh, all of these songs is on this one CD. Oh, I gotta go get that. I gotta go get that. And I remember my mom liked one of the songs on there, and that's why we initially went out and got the CD. So without further ado, we about to sit here, crack it open, and talk about this CD. So, like I said before, this was the cover art, and it looks plain, but it's not. I'm not sure if you could see it or not, but it got like holographics or holographs on it. I'm not sure if I'm even saying that right, but when you go like this, you can see it's birds on there, and I'm like, oh my goodness, that is too cute, because it looks plain when you look at it, and then you see it, and I'm like, oh, that is so cute. So, and then you can see the same birds all inside. So she did it with this one, the purple, and then like the silver. It's cute, and it looked like an eggplant, like color purple. So yeah, it's like a darker purple, and it's cute. And then this is the back of the checklist, and so we got to sit here and talk about it. So like I said, this CD came out in 2008, and I was in high school. I mean, oh, not high school, child, please. You wish. I was in middle school. I was in middle school. I think I was might have been ending the 7th grade or going into the 8th grade. And I remember when Bust Your Windows came out. I remember when I Need You Bad came out. And when I Need You Bad came out, Missy Elliott was on there. And if you don't know who Missy Elliott is, oh my God, you must be living under a rock, because she, just transformed the way we saw women in music. Like, I'm talking about from the trash bag to the glasses to just her being silly and her just being herself. Like, oh my goodness, that took me back. So I'm telling you. So we're gonna sit here and talk about like the culture impact of it. So if you can see her, this was like how people were, starting to change over and shift their looks back then. So you can see she has like, the pretty makeup on, and you can see like her eye and all that. But if you can't see it, the bangs and the hoodie, like that was my era. The hoodie with the hair out, or if you had a hat on, you pull out the good side of the hair out, all that fashion back then. So we're gonna crack this open, and I'm gonna show you the pictures first, and then we're gonna go talk about the track listings if the video don't get too long. Okay, so you see, like, this was the era with the bangs, and I remember Little Mama was rocking the bangs and everything, and it was like 2008 and all of that. Like, I remember so many songs that came all around then. I remember like it was just fun. They was dropping videos, and they was really dancing and really just getting back into the craft, and it was like, oh my gosh. I remember T-Pain and Chris Brown and everybody in Little Mama. I just remember everybody just dancing, and it was like, this is fun. Music is fun, and I'm telling you, this era was everything. So that was the first picture, and then like I said, it's the track listings. I think some of it is the lyrics too, but I don't want to show it too much. But it's the track listings, and then here go the birds, and then the color scheme looks so nice on here too. And then look at this. She looks so gorgeous right here. Like, oh my gosh. This was everything. This was everything. And then it's just, more of the track listings. And then more pictures of her. Yes, ma'am. And then it has her thank yous on the back. So now we're gonna get into this track listing. Oh, hey baby. So like I said, I Need You Bad. That had Missy Elliott on it. And the track listings on here, it's 11 plus my favorite bonus track. So like I said, artists used to put bonus tracks sometimes in between songs, and you had to listen to the whole album, or sometimes they just used to list it on there. So the bonus track on here was called Switch, and I remember that song, and I remember the video and for it and stuff like that. But I do remember another song by Jazmine Sullivan called Circles, and that video was everything too. So we're gonna go from the track listings on here. So the first one was, of course, Bust Your Windows. Bust Your Windows was like, I can't explain it. I think every now and again, we get our women empowerment songs, and then sometimes we get our waiting to exhale songs too. And this was definitely a waiting to exhale song. Like, he did her dirty, and she left a mark with his car. I mean, even I think Carrie Underwood has a song called Next Time He Cheats, or Before He Cheats, and she was talking about destroying his car in that too. So we've always had these songs, but we talking about Miss Jazmine Sullivan. Okay, so that was Bust Your Windows, and the video for that was typical. She had the crowbar, and I remember she was dancing, or like, just she was on like this bar, and I think she was at Boa's apartment building, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm talking about, she had the crowbar. She had everything she was explaining in that song, and it was like, when you first hear it, you like, oh Lord, he done did her dirty. But I mean, she really was talking that in that song, and it was just like, you don't say things to people and then don't mean it, and turn around and do this, and then you acting like that. Like, no, I gotta give you a little reminder. Don't do that to me or nobody else ever again. Okay, so that was that. And then I talked about Need You Bad, and then her having Missy Elliott as, somebody that was backing her, somebody that, believed in her. I would have been on the floor. As soon as Missy would have walked in the door, I would have been like, oh God, it's Missy Elliott. Like, yes. Like, Missy was everything, for girls like, me, and just being different and wanting to, express, how creative you were, you know what I mean? So yeah. And then My Foolish Heart, Lions and Tigers and Bears really was my John. I mean, she was basically talking about how she ain't scared of nothing, not even lions and tigers and bears, but she was scared of loving this person. And it was like, dang, we always hear people say lions and tigers and bears, oh my, but it was like, the way she twisted it up to say, I ain't scared of nothing, but love scares me, and love with you scares me. Like, oh my gosh, she did that one. And then Call Me Guilty, One Night Stand, After the Hurricane. And I remember After the Hurricane was actually on an episode of The Game at the end. And I was just like, oh, who sings that? And then I looked it up, and I was like, oh, Jazmine Sullivan. And it was all on this same CD. And I was like, dang, I gotta go get that John now, because I had already heard Bust Your Windows Out the Car on the radio. I had already heard Need You Bad. But then, like I said, it's songs for radio play, and then it's hidden gems, and then it's bonus tracks and stuff. So I think the hidden gem on here for me, of course, was Lions, Tigers, and Bears. After the Hurricane was cool. And then Dream Big, Live a Lie, Fear, and then number 11 was In Love with Another Man. And that was also on Motion Picture. It was Tyler Perry's Confessions of a Marriage Counselor. And if you didn't see that movie, of course, I know some people don't watch, certain movies and stuff like that, but it was on a scene in the movie, where she basically went from one man, which was her husband, and now she was falling in love with somebody that was a bad boy, the opposite of her. So I'm not sure if Jazmine Sullivan wrote this song from her own experience and then they used it in the movie, or vice versa, but loved it either way. And then, the bonus track on here was Switch. So you know, that's just the rundown of that. I'm trying to cut the videos down because I know it was long, and then I'm trying to clip it too. So, you know, once again, my name is D. This has been See Me Through CDs. Come on back because I know you want to sit here with my bag of CDs. Love y'all. Bye. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn notifications on, share, do whatever you want. Love y'all.